Hello and welcome back to Forge of Champions. Munch has changed. I'm joined by Orcs. How's the train?
Slow. It got here in the end, though.
You got here. You made it.
I got here, yeah.
What'd you make of that last game? Yeah.
It was a game.
It was a game. It was a game.
Clearly, Diabolus came in with a plan. It was a similar plan that they had last week, you know, picking the champions that they desired, which apparently
That's
Demise,
how League of Legends works.
Demise opted just to hand them over, you know, the Gragas, the Cassiopeia, the Zyra Khan, the bot lane. A lot of power picks, and Diabolus clearly ran away with the game, put a lot of pressure down bot, which I think is a smart thing to do against Demise, because for me, Voxton and Vigo are players who will pop off, but they need the resources to do so. And I think if you punish them, they have shown that they will fall to a degree, and it happened there. But I was not convinced about their ability to close out. It was clear that there was tons of strength in the composition of Diabolus. They should have been winning team fights no matter what. And it was the fact that things like the Fiora became an issue for them. And it wasn't so much because Fiora is a good team fighter, because I think everyone agrees that's not the case. It was just a lack of execution coming out from Diabolus.
And does it scream to you like a lack of respect, or a kind of, you know, you didn't scout that out right when you do give them the power picks over? Or do you think the bans they had were kind of justified as well? Is it just...
I feel like it's just like a lack of scouting them out. I mean, Dragdar hasn't shown sort of an affinity to be playing these mages in the bot lane. I think Syndra's big strength in this patch isn't just her power in the mid lane, but also the fact you can flex a bot lane. They put a ban towards that. They put a ban towards the Yasuo. One of the big combos that we've seen Diabolus have success on is Gragas Yasuo. But the more versatile pick is the Gragas. They'll play Gragas without the Yasuo, and yes, you can play Yasuo Sejuani, but it doesn't have as much pressure in the early game. You can't punish bot as much, so I think they should have banned the Gragas. I think they should have banned the Xayah and not given it over to Dragdar, especially when they give him the full combo of Zyra Khan.
Yeah.
And as you said, it's not like there's any excuse for this, because they saw this coming out last week.
Yeah, I mean, if you watched the games last week, you saw, wow, that Cassiopeia was dirty. Wow, that Gragas is dirty. Zyra Khan, everybody knows is dirty. So,
yeah, and
it was questionable, but you know, they have to move on. They have to now make sure that they adapt, and I'd like to see some of those champions taken away in this next game.
Yeah, I will say though, if the game had been a clean sort of 25-minute finish, which it very much could have been, it would have been a different situation, and maybe Demise's mental could have been shaken a bit more. But I think after you made it such a slugfest for Diabolus has shown that they are flawed. There were definitely issues with their ability to close out. I feel like you can feel more confident as Demise to bounce back in this game too. Rather than just getting stomped in 25 minutes, they showed they have some fight.
And it was exciting. It added to it. And, you know, there is, like you said, there is the fight. I'm curious to see whether or not we see Barty playing the Ornn again, or if we see him pick for something else. Because the Ornn actually, while Barty wasn't really a flashy player, he was the facilitator in some of that fight. He was the one starting up those fights. It wasn't Diabolus engaging on to Demise and then Demise turning the fight. It was actually them going, let's go. And they pull the trigger. They get the follow-up from the Nautilus after the ulti comes down from the Ornn, and there was some solid moments. Obviously, Voxton was 0-7, so his damage was
lacking,
really severely lacking. But you know, Mapelian was able to pick up where he was missing, and you know, coming into this next game, if they opt into lanes that you know don't all lose, and they can.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot of factors, because I think having the Zyra of the mid lane, you'd assume they'd be able to get priority, but PFI applied so much pressure. And for me, the thing with the Ornn is it scales really well, but one of the conditionals, I mean, one of the big first players of it has been Zanzara, who played it for Origin Barcelona in the SLO. And he is such an intelligent jungler at tracking the enemy jungler. And I feel like that's what you need to do on this Ornn pick, shut down PFI, if you want to get your lane to the point where you can start handing out those free items.
Well, we're on to the picks and bans. Diabolus so far going for the same bans as last time. Demise also banning away the Kennen again. It looks like Demise actually do opt into that red side, but this time, there's the adaptation, there's the change. It was the Yasuo last time. This time they go for the Gragas. Deny that from PFI. He's been too good on it, too oppressive on it. As Diabolus just mirror their bans from last time. They want to go for the Yuumi once again.
Yeah, Diabolus, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think Demise, Gragas, I love the adaptation. I think Xayah should be the banner here. They instead move towards a Syndra. I expect Diabolus to repeat things with the first pick Xayah in this situation. And then it comes down to Demise's answer. Last time they went Kai'Sa and Nautilus. And maybe they're thinking without the jungle pressure, they'll be in a better position. Who knows? Maybe they feel like now they're obliged to pick the Rakan away just to cut down some of that power. But honestly, I think it's not just about the 2v2. A lot of it came down to the jungle pressure off PFI. Moving the Gragas is a big factor. Can they do more to set up Batu for success?
But there's still likes of the Sejuani that you're talking about available in the jungle. You also have We've seen the rise in the Skarner as well. There are still plenty of junglers that have been left open. And one of the things Monster was talking about in the last game was the Rek'Sai as well. So I think we actually saw Barty's been using a lot to use for climbing recently since his return to EU, as he kind of had to come back out from where he decayed to. And it was using Rek'Sai has been one of his kind of primary champions to do so. What do Demise want to lock in here? They've got the Kai'Sa so far. Do they want to go for the Nautilus again, or do they want to pick themselves up a jungler? Do opt in for that Nautilus. The Demise pretty much mirroring their last pick and ban phase.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Kai'Sa Nautilus is a really strong bot lane. It has a lot of synergy because you stack that passive very easily with all the CC. However, obviously, most people would agree Zyra Khan is the stronger duo. But I'm fine with them picking that up again. What I want to see, though, in this third pick is Demise picking something that's going to give them stronger early pressure. You said a lot of those picks. The Rek'Sai is a big one. Elise and Lee Sin have seen a ton of play at Worlds. These champions can all impact earlier and, more importantly, be more proactive than the Ornn. With the Ornn, having the spellbook means that if you join a counter gank, you're in a great position, but you're not that good at setting them up. So we'll have to see what Demise off to pick up there. And Diabolus, I like this pick because, last game Kakan did great on the Poppy. But the big thing here is that the Gangplank, not only can it survive a lot of lanes pretty comfortably, it has good wave clear, and then critically, the ult can help out the bot lane so much. It's going to make things even harder for Mappilian and Batu, although they don't have to look after that Gragas anymore.
I mean, you take away the Gragas this time, and Diabolus go, okay, we'll take another comfortable pick for us. They take the Gangplank. This is going to be Mappilian on the Aurelia. Another comfortable pick for him here. So he had a fantastic showing versus Kakan in that last game. This time it's not so hard countered. He's not going to get so shut down by the likes of a Steadfast Presence. If he gets on top of Kakan, will be able to do some serious work here on this Aurelia.
Yeah, and now it comes down to the bans in the second phase. So Demise before did ban away the Gangplank. Obviously not going to be a factor here. I'm wondering if they look towards some of the early pressure junglers from PFI, or alternatively, do you ban away the Yasuo? Sejuani's still open. I feel like a Gangplank, Sejuani, Yasuo, you have both of these melee solo laners that can proc your passive would be powerful. And as much as it would be a full AD composition, it often doesn't become an issue if you're able to snowball a massive lead. Diablo's going to ban away the Karthus, which, I mean, it's another pick similar to the Ornn, in which that it's not the most proactive jungler. If you're in the right situation, the right time, great. But I feel like I want to see Batu on something that has more agency in the early game. Cassiopeia is something, obviously, Fury had great success in, so they will ban that away. And it honestly wouldn't surprise me that depending on what Demise pick up here, you could just see Diabolus go for, say, Sejuani Yasuo. Or it depends if they want to go for something more early focused. Kiana hasn't shown her face at all right now. Yeah. I could see, like, Kiana Elise is a devastating mid lane 2v2 combo.
All right, well, Demise now, what do they want to get their hands onto? 10 seconds left. Looking for a jungler, looking for a mid laner. Going to be the Echo lock-in for Vixen.
I really like this because it keeps the Aurelia as a flex, and it's also flexing on itself. Echo, you can play mid, top, jungle, even seen in bot lane a couple of times. So it means it's not a given where it's going to go. And Diabolus answer with the Elise, I do like that. I like the early pressure. Now it comes down to what Fury's going to pick up. I feel like you don't have the synergy with the Yasuo, but Kiana, it seems like the sort of thing that's in Fury's wheelhouse. It's a super strong mid-jungle combo. It comes down to what Diabolus is going to pick up. And now that they have the Elise, they have some AP in terms of that to provide for their team composition, but instead they're going to go for more global pressure in that TF. So a lot of kill pressure in the mid lane because you have all that CC layering, but the important thing is you look at the composition of Diabolus. You picked Zyra Khan, one of the strongest bot lanes in the game. You've also picked so many champions that can pressure bot lane, at least great ganking potential, and then you have the Gangplank and the TF, which can just roam, at least make their impact felt down in the bot lane.
All right, well, Demise now going to pick themselves up a jungler. The question is what do they want to go for? It's the Kassadin. So that's Echo jungle and Kassadin in the mid lane. I do worry, though, because you're dealing now with a lot of early CC, the stacking with the gold cards, with the cocoons. It's going to do some serious work here.
I mean, I feel like it's so easy to kill Vixen. I feel like it's just a given, and the only thing you have to be scared about is the counter gank from Batu. That parallel convergence now with a 2.25 seconds stun is devastating if you walk into it. But even so, Demise have given them a massive scaling component because obviously the casting is a monster later on, but it does mean they're not going to have the priority in the mid lane. It's very easy. The path that I see is PFI puts pressure mid. They either kill Vixen or force him into a position where he can't contest the priority. And then you rotate that pressure bot. You crush Denvoxne and Vigor again. There was one point I was looking at last game where they were 1 in 14. You do that.
I'm actually surprised that Vixen's not gone for cleanse. I understand he wants to match the global pressure available to Diabolus here with a teleport, but one cocoon, one gold card, you're gone.
I feel like teleport's just sort of a given for casting, even though it's going to limit you in some ways. I think even against the rough lane he's in, I think he understands he's just going to have to play it safe. The advantage he does have is he does have a lot of resistance to magic damage, because casting takes 15% less, and as much as this is probably going to be an ADTF I expect it to be, I could be wrong, but either way, the early damage from the chef is going to be pretty heavily AP focused because of, his stack deck and his wild cards and stuff like that. So I think he can farm safely under the tower and be in a comfortable position, but he's never going to be able to help his team. Like, you're waiting until the late game to make an impact. We saw that in the Xerath last game, and sure, they held on for a long time, but they were still 12,000 gold down at about 20 minutes, and that shouldn't be your playstyle. You shouldn't want to get to that position, and I feel like they're in a position where they may end up there once again.
Well, we're taken to the Rift for game 2 of our first series of week 2 of Forge of Champions. Demise down 1 game. This is match point here for Diabolus. Can they pull this back?
Big question for me is going to come down to what can Batu do on the Echo. Both teams actually going for 5-man invades on the opposite side of the map, so not going to be caught out, but some vision. And this pretty heavily favors the side of Demise. So the reason being is that obviously we've talked heavily about how Diabolus should look to play around their bot lane. By doing this, by invading onto this red side, Demise could potentially set up for a map split, where Batu's clearing the camps on the bot side of the map. He's in closer proximity to his bot lane, and so can offer them assistance, but I don't think they're going to go for that. They're just going to back away. So an opportunity map split essentially just decided to not go for that one. And that means I expect BFI, looks like he's hovering towards that blue. He's going to clear top to bot. That's where the end focus is going to be. That bot lane is going to be the most volatile point in the map. And Devoxy and Vigo did not have a good game last time.
Difference maker is
difference maker.
Spot out
the difference
Batu.
maker. You're bringing that one up.
I'm just saying they have the information that Batu has started on this red side. And it just gives them that little bit extra information. They'll know that he's probably going to be looking to go towards this bot side. So now bot lane have that information to work with. Demise obviously can make an educated guess, but it's not as informed.
I mean, they have a ward on the bot side. After this second camp, I mean, they should be pretty sure that Elise isn't there. But after this second camp, they know 100%. Because there is a situation where Elise goes from red to Krugs, then Raptors. But as soon as you see that she's not walked on over the ward about this sort of time, you know she started on the blue side.
Devoxy actually looks to get caught out here. He even lands a fair amount of damage onto him. Ignite's already been used in Den now, making his way away. Will be the Ignite down. This does cost a little bit of damage onto Devoxy. He still has that teleport.
Honestly, good trade for Demise. Yes, it gives the priority over the side of Diabolus, but that was a given anyway. But getting rid of the Ignite early puts you in a decent position. You have the TP. And actually, yeah, Kakan just bullying Mephilean.
Mephilean does have that flash, but he's not going to use it in time. Kakan finds first blood.
Gangplank, baby. If you get in range of him, he'll use that trial by fire. He will actually cut through you pretty heavily and then able to turn around and chase him down. Mephilean just not respecting him, and massive disadvantage because you don't pick the Gangplank to get solo kills at level 2. You pick the Aurelia to do that. It's kind of just going to reverse there.
Just dodging out on this flawless duet, and now Batu actually being invaded on multiple fronts here. PFI coming in, has that cocoon, has that knockup. Batu jumps away with a phase dive. A hook lands on. That's going to be the Ignite already used. Heathen flashes away. Batu trying to make his way out now for the moment, but Heathen very, very low. Then Voxney itching for that kill, but not willing to commit, not willing to die. So he just steps away. They bail their jungler out.
I like the aggression coming up from Diabolus. They knew that Batu was mirroring PFI.
Oh no, that might just be the end of Heathen. Minion blocks the Void Seeker, which means Heathen will not die today.
Manages to get away. The mobility of Rakan coming in clutch, and as I was saying, I like the play from Diabolus. They know Batu's mirroring. They had priority in the bot lane. They go for the aggressive play, but honestly, Devoxy and Vigo reacted very quickly to shut that down. And Batu's blue is safe. And now they actually look for a dive. This is really strong with the Echo because of the stun, but it's risky.
Going for it. It's going to look for Heathen. He gets caught out. Knockup lands onto 2. Then Voxney has to flash away as he finds himself the kill onto Heathen. Dragdar will walk away alive, but did lose his support.
In that situation, you want to hug your turret, and you're right in that parallel convergence. A stun over 2 seconds, there's no real way to outplay that one. The Heathen goes down. Good play from Demise. I like that they're putting pressure down bot, but now this is why you pick Elise. Diving potential. Mapillion's in trouble.
Pillion is in trouble. Got teleport coming in. The backup's on time. Twin Fangs is going to be enough. The stun's not enough. And Vixen now, level 4. Not going to be able to do too much. And he might just get dove here in response. Gets himself a silence off, but he is running away. PFI flashes forward for him. Tower shot after tower shot lands on Kakan. But that's not enough to get the kill here, baby. And PFI is running Vixen down. Vixen's able to dodge away. Tries to get the turnaround damage onto PFI, but sinks in the kill. And that's another one for PFI. Diabolus coming out strong early.
And it's just, this is the problem with the Kassadin. You can't do anything in the early game. You TP up level 4, and the Gangplank and the Elise just laugh at you and take you down. Easy pickings. They went for a dive. Not only did they get 1 kill, they got 2. Diabolus looking great again in this early game.
Just really questionable mistake there by Vixen. Should have just accepted Mapillion's doom.
Or just, you can TP up and pick up the farm. But he decided to chase them off. But it's like, you're level 4 casting, you're never going to kill them. It's just never going to happen. And instead he ends up giving over a kill. And he missed that massive wave under the tower. So wasted his TP for nothing.
PFI and Haven now looking for Vixen. Vixen's flashless, remember. Gold card getting channeled up. That's the flash.
Oh,
That's
no.
the knockup. Chain CC. Vixen's down. And Fury, he gets himself another.
And we said in Champion Select, yes, Vixen can play safe under his tower. He can't impact the map. But going for that aggressive play top, burning his flash, means that Diabolus can afford to go for plays like these. There's no ult from the Kassadin. You have no mobility against a TF and an Elise. You're definitely going down. And
oh, Dragdar, he gets locked up, but the lockup is also followed down as Dragdar picks himself a kill up. The cannon barrage will slow everybody down, and Dragdar finds a double kill. Diabolus just making this look easy.
Honestly, lack of respect from Demise. You know that you've just seen PFI and Heathen mid. You know there's a good chance they'll rotate down, and yet you still got the play. And now, dive
this
coming
is
in.
how you die. The Cocoon, the CC. What is Demise doing? He actually will get a kill here onto PFI. Probably
with calculated. That was calculated. Absolutely.
This is what we saw in the last series from Demise. Just really, really questionable teleports in. Just running into multiple members, like, lose the plates. Just walk the lane. You're not going to get that CS anyway, because if you teleport in, you die. He's now teleportless. And Vigo, that was almost him dead.
I mean, he's going to be able to hold the wave. They do back off, but, I mean, you look across the map. Kakan 2 levels up and playing bullying him under tower. Fury has his level 6, Vixen's without it. We're seeing the bot lane doing a pretty good job at making their impact known. There is some saving graces, though. There is a lot of scaling on the side of Demise. That Kassadin is going to be monster. And Devoxnay getting that shutdown kill does allow him to equalize. But still, once again, Demise really looking lost in the early game. And Diabolus looking in control. And the players I want to highlight are PFI and Heathen. Because I think one of the biggest things to talk about, I mean, in any meta, particularly this one, is jungle support synergy. And you saw them moving about as a duo. They go mid, they get a kill on Vixen, they go bot, they get a kill on a Devoxnay. It's just Devoxnay and Vigo, both of them. Just really good play from them, and it shows that they've really picked up in between the time since the UKLC summer season to now. And they've learned how to effectively play between those two members.
But he does have his ulti available. Stun lands here from Mapillion on the top side towards Kakan. PFI just bullying Vatu away from his own jungle once again. Kakan steps forward onto Mapillion. Not really going to have to do too much damage there. CW will negate some of that. Now Vixen, level 6, but Fury's just had so much time in the lane that he's so far ahead. He's just able to bully him out with those auto attacks.
And what I find interesting is the decision to... Oh. What's going to happen? It's a decision for him to go electrocute. Because, I mean, this is a lane where you expect to get chipped down by the TF. And it just seems a bit disrespectful for me. The normal go-to is if you're in a melee matchup, Grasp is pretty good on Kassadin. But in a matchup like this, where you're going to get chipped down, you go Fleet Footwear. Gives you the extra survivability, and sure, electrocute's great. But you're not going to get it off against Fury because he's never going to be in range. So it's useless for you in the laning phase. Again, some questionable decisions coming out from Demise. But take stock of the game. 4,000 gold down. It's a massive amount at this point. You can see the goal differences coming out. One of the big one is top lane, where it's almost 2,000 between them. But the caveat is Demise have a Kai'Sa, they have an Echo, they have a Kassadin. These champions are strong in the later stages. And we did see Diabolus struggle to finish the game out in game 1 of the series. So it's definitely not over yet, but it is looking dire, and it's sort of getting to that point where you have to call damage control, or at least look to make plays with numbers advantages.
You see Mapillion's just doing no damage, just lands a flawless duet, Q's in forward. He just tickles at the moment. Mapillion, and this was very different last game as well. This man was doing a lot of the work for his team. This time it's going to really be on Demoxney, but he's not having a particularly fantastic showing right now. Now the Destiny is going to get used. Demoxney's already flashed away. Gold card's in. That's an instant kill. A lot of damage onto Vigo. Demoxney gets picked up. Vigo soon to follow, and Dragdar finds a second double kill of the game. 9 minutes in. Ocean Drake is leashed up by Demise as well for Diabolus, and it's just falling apart at the seams here.
Yeah, and let's jump back to about 20 seconds ago when I was saying Demise should be in damage control, or at least look for favorable fights. Randomly starting up the Dragon without any information on the team when they have Cannon Barrage and Destiny is not how you get back in this game. That was just naive to think that you could get away with that, and Diabolus quickly shut them down. Effective play from them, and now 6,000 gold up at 10 minutes. They're not going to start off that Herald.
Yeah, Barty's not even going to bother contesting. He knows it's doomed as the teleport's coming in as well to make sure that PFI has some backup on this. In case anybody wants to try some shenanigans. This also speeds up that lane swap as Dragdar now on the top side of the map. Mapillion facing up for the moment. Demoxney teleportless. And in that bot side of the map, I think they're just going to have to accept first turret blood here and try and get as many places, as much gold as they can to themselves. But Triforce finished up on Fury. Tear of the Goddess for Vixen. Hasn't even got the lost chapter at the moment. This man is very, very far behind his mid lane counterpart. And this should just be a turret or maybe 2 here. They're holding onto the Rift Tails for the moment. We'll be able to pick up first turret blood in the top lane.
Yeah, I think it's a smart decision. They could have gone for the heavy push here, potentially look to get a second turret, but instead they're going to shut down this play on the bot side. Yes, Demoxney got 1 plate, but if they'd looked for that trade, maybe they would have got 2 turrets, but I feel like they would have had to stop with the inhibitor tower regardless. And they would have traded on the other side of with Demise, giving them a bot lane tower over. Instead, they say, no, we're going to shut down everything Demise is going to try to do. We're not willing to trade here because we are so much stronger. We're going to face them head on, and they quickly swap. Actually looking to put the pressure down mid. They have the wave clear bot from Kakan to handle that. And if you break this mid tier 1 open this early in the game, it's really hard for Demise to get any control over the map.
Oh, they get the stun onto Vixen. He's able to jump away, but now Vigo, he's the one caught out. Batu coming in with a parallel convergence, unable to lock anybody down. Vixen is just sent packing, and the charge is going to be broken down. A lot of damage onto his turret, and this should just be the mid lane. Nice and easy for Diabolus. They're able to take out the Rift Tower, but they've still got a minion wave to work with and demolish procs. Mid lane tier 1 will finally crumble to the siege from Diabolus, and this game looking a lot more controlled from the last.
And now they can just rotate over to that bot side. Kakan's already chipping away at the tower. This is going to be a 15-play opening. Really solid start from Diabolus. And honestly, it's scary to think about. Demise, once again, they've gotten to that point where you're like, right, we have to stall this game for a significant amount of time. There's only at the sort of 25-minute point onwards where they could even start to contest last game. But with being this far behind, almost 10,000 at 12 minutes, I just don't think it's going to be possible.
Destiny's going to get used here as well. Demoxney uses a supercharge, cannon barrage in comes the Heathen, gets himself the quickness onto one, locks him down, and PFI picks up the kill. Simple as.
Fury disrespecting there by stun carding the minion. It's like, I don't even need this, but in the end, they still get the kill on a Demoxney, and another instance where they step up, try and take something return, and they instantly get shut down, and now we have to really look at how dire this gold is. They've broken the 10k gold lead at only 13 minutes, and you can see that in the item differentials. Kakan and Fury got those massive Triforce spikes. Able to pick up a Zeal as well for Fury and the pickaxe and the Tabby for Kakan. So even past those massive spikes, you have the Essence Reaver and the BF from Dragdar, and then comparatively, a Manamune that's not stacked. A Lost Chapter and a Tiamat. It's just, it's not even close. And even if Demise bring out some miracle fight where, you know, they get everything they want in a team fight, they find the backline access, they still don't have the stats.
I think Mapillion might be dead here. Gold card to the face. He is donezo.
Oh, that's rough. That hate to watch. And Echo die too. Batu goes down even with his ultimate, so things definitely not looking good. And Diabolus, it's a renewed vigor. Clearly their backroom staff had a little shout at them after that game and said, look, that should have been a done game, and Bado gets the ult off, but in the end, dashes back in, unable to get away. But yeah, I feel like Diabolus has gone, we are not happy with that game one. Yes, we got a lead in the early game, but it was sloppy closing out, and now the response is to get an even bigger lead in this game. I'll be impressed if Demise can hold on.
I'll be surprised if Voxy can hold on. He just got chunked out by a couple of feathers in a barrel. Siege getting started up here by Diabolus. He's got minions coming in as well. Parallel convergence is going to get thrown out. This is the fight by Demise already. Batu gets himself one onto Heaven. Kakan has to flash away. Vixen hot on the heels. Mapillion does have that ulti, but gets caught out by the feathers. PFI tries to sink the fangs into Vixen. Not able to find it quite yet. The flash forward. You find themselves an ulti onto Fury. He just flashes over the wall. These guys need to stop face planting into walls, and PFI needs to find himself a kill onto Vixen. Fury secures that one as the repels used by PFI to keep him alive. Just flat disrespect here coming out from the Demise as Batu also gets caught out. Kakan just shoots him in the face. What? And now this is just like Boxing has to flash here. Fury can just run him down. Has the gold card. That's a double kill for Dragdar. Now Mapillion takes a lot of damage from PFI. Diabolus are just killing them in their base. Cocoon is going to find its mark. I don't know if this is next gen marksman.
I mean, I think the thing I've got to say is that a lot of people hyped up Denvoxnate. A lot of people said he was a standout, sort of coming in as a really strong rookie, and I'll agree, he did have some really strong performances, but I think Diabolus have shown that he needs attention and resources to get to that point. Dragdar has been sort of the sleeper carry off the league, constantly having good performances, but maybe taking a step back for the later stages. Here he's shown he can do more in these early levels, but now Demise trying to hold on to the Nexus towers.
Cocoon only lands onto Vixen, chunks him nice and low. Dragdar doing so much work for his team. If PFI actually just step away for the moment, Denvoxney little bit low. Mapillion looks for a stun, can't find that mark, and Demise, they've lost their top lane in here. Baron doesn't even spawn for another 3 minutes. Make that 4. Closing in as the Heaven might just get caught out here by Vixen, but he's able to jump away with the grand entrance. Batu finds himself a little bit of damage onto Kakan, but the barrels, the cannon barrage, everything's getting thrown down, and he's still alive. Vigo gets taken down. Dragdar 9-0. I retract my statement. This is next gen.
Honestly, it's just a lot of questionable. I mean, Diabolus are playing great, don't get me wrong, but Demise, the mechanics have been off. The decision-making's been off, and they're still just constantly trying to force. I mean, look at your items. You're not going to win a fight. Just hold on. But instead, they've given over an inhib because they keep trying to look for these fights. And now, Diabolus, they're not going to give him any more space. They're going to take down this mid-inhibitor tower with a TP from Dragdar. And Demise, I mean, now is the time where you're sort of forced to take a fight because you threw away so many before this.
Diabolus just really sinking this in. A lot of damage lands onto Denvoxy from the barrels there. Gangplank doing some serious work. They've only got 3 minions to work with for the moment. That's a lot of damage onto Vigo. Seeker can't actually get himself one with a Feather Storm already. That's 10-0 on the Xayah. And a gold card onto Denvoxy and chunk him low with more feathers. Mapillion takes some damage. Vixen is going to get picked up, and Demise look to find themselves their opening. Repel's going to get used. That's going to be the ultimate thrown down by Mapillion. Gets himself the stun off and a double kill. Picked up by Dragdar. Another member of Demise has fallen. And I do not know if they can do anything here.
I mean, it's a pre-20-minute finish. This is...
Hey, shutdown.
No longer going to be 12-0. It's now 12-1.
It was absolute dominance from Diabolus. 18 minutes on the clock as the Nexus explodes. And Diabolus 2-0 Demise in just... I wouldn't even say style. They just won, man. They was just winning. That's all that was.
A lot of questionable decisions. I think the draft, I wasn't convinced by taking things like the Cassidin. But that didn't matter. That honestly did not matter at all. There was a lot of mistakes in the early levels. Diabolus did great to set those mistakes up. You're never going to make a mistake if someone doesn't force them, so credit to them for doing a lot. But Demise, this was not the same team we had in the regular split. They really just... They didn't look like they were together. They didn't look like their mechanics at one point. They looked a bit lost at times, and the decision-making was questionable. But honestly, Diabolus, they look like they've stepped up. We saw them have a massive decline over the summer split. They went down, they started strong, and then just teetered off. But here, they look like a decisive team. They're playing together as a 5-man, and then Heathen and PFI as that 2-man duo, so strong in the jungle sport.
For me, the key thing is this looks like the Diabolus we saw at the beginning of the summer split and not at the end of the summer split. This was the Diabolus who were looking very strong, And, you know, they are playing up versus Demise here, and we'll have to see now when they step forward how they can test those waters.
I'm arguing to say they actually look better than the start of the summer split.
That's
I
fair.
think coming in the summer split, they had some strength in the roster, and they came in, they were like, look, we're good players, we're going to win. I feel like that's no longer the case because there are better players individually than them in the league. I think they are playing well as a team and as a unit. And it's the sort of transformation we saw from Phelan in the Gauntlet run, where it was their coordination which elevated them to another level. That's what we've seen from the Diabolus.
I think this is the Diabolus we expected to see them become at the end of the summer split.
Absolutely.
And they did find that mark. Obviously, the summer split's over, but coming into Forge, they're looking very, very strong, very comfortable as a team. They're firing on all cylinders as well. That's the key thing here, is they really are finding their like moments, their wins as a team. It's not off the back of individual performances. Yes, Dragdar 10-0 or 11-0 on 12-1 on the Xayah, looking absolutely flawless. That was obviously a facilitating factor in that, but he got that fed because his team were playing well around him. PFI is being a very oppressive jungler right now. You can leave Kakan in the mid lane alone, and he even plays well with PFI, like you're saying, in the patch. On the meta currently, it's very much about jungle and support rotations and roaming together. Diabolus have adapted and kind of sunk that into their playstyle already. Very quick to adapt and pick that up, and they're ready to go.
Yeah, and they look really strong. And I think that you're absolutely right on all those points. There were some unforced errors. Because obviously Diabolus put a lot of pressure down. There were moments like Napoleon dying top lane, and there were points where Demise were overstepping. So what I'm really interested to see is the next round for Diabolus, how they can face up against the next team in front of them, because I think it'll be a really good match.
I think it'll be an incredible match, but we have to find out who they're going to be playing. And coming up after the break, we have ourselves XL versus Phelan. You do not want to miss this one, so we'll see you after the break.